The moon hung low over the vast expanse of the Pantanal wetlands, casting a silvery glow that danced upon the labyrinth of waterways. Dr. Elena Marquez stood at the helm of the raft, her sharp eyes scanning the inky waters ahead. A renowned marine biologist, Elena was relentless in her pursuit of the unknown, her curiosity often treading the fine line between passion and obsession. Beside her, Matteo adjusted his array of sensitive microphones, his steady hands betraying none of the anxiety that churned within. A sound engineer with a haunted past, Matteo was driven by a need to capture what others couldn't hear, a quest to silence the echoes of his own failures. Sophia, the youngest of the team, clutched her notepad tightly, her adventurous spirit wavering beneath the weight of doubt. She longed to prove herself, to shed the shadow of inexperience. At the stern, Luis guided the raft with practiced ease, his weathered face and solemn eyes hiding the ghosts of expeditions gone awry. Each carried their own fears, but together they ventured deeper into the heart of the swamp, united by a shared purpose, to document the elusive voices of the rare aquatic life that legend spoke of, but science had yet to confirm. The humid air was thick with the scent of decay and rich earth, each breath heavy in their lungs. An eerie stillness settled around them as the familiar chorus of nocturnal creatures fell silent. Mist curled above the water's surface, obscuring the tangled roots and submerged hazards that lurked beneath. "This isn't on any of our maps," Luis muttered, his voice barely piercing the dense fog. Elena's gaze flickered to the compass, the needle spinning uselessly. "The currents have shifted," she said, a hint of unease creeping into her tone. Matteo leaned over the side, his microphone aimed at the darkness. "There's something out there," he whispered. A distant mechanical humming reached their ears, a sound unsettlingly out of place in the untouched wilderness. Sophia shuddered, her grip tightening on her notepad. "Maybe we should turn back," she suggested, but the plea hung unanswered as a sudden surge propelled the raft forward. The waterway narrowed, reeds towering overhead like sentinels guarding a forbidden realm. Shadows twisted and stretched in the dim light, playing tricks on wary eyes. The humming grew louder, more invasive, vibrating through the very core of the raft. Without warning, ropes shot out from the underbrush, coiling around the vessel with serpentine precision. "We're being pulled in," Matteo shouted, scrambling to secure the equipment. Figures emerged along the banks, men with hardened faces etched by a life of lawlessness. Pirates. Panic gripped them as rough hands seized the raft, dragging it ashore. "Hide the data," Elena hissed, shoving memory cards into her boot. Sophia slipped a tiny drive into the binding of her notepad, her heart pounding. The pirate leader approached, a sinister grin revealing a glint of gold amidst rotted teeth. "Well, what have we here? Trespassers in our waters?" His eyes lingered on their gear with greedy interest. Bound and helpless, the team was led to a ramshackle camp hidden deep within the swamp's embrace. The pirates corralled them into a dilapidated hut, its walls adorned with trinkets and tokens of past plunders. The fetid stench of decay was overwhelming. Elena scanned their captors, noting the weapons crudely fashioned yet deadly. "We need to get out of here," she whispered, her mind racing. Luis's jaw tightened. "They're interested in our equipment. They'll try to extract information." Matteo's usual stoicism cracked. "We can't let them have it. Our work, it's too important." Sophia's eyes brimmed with tears she refused to shed. "I never should have come," she murmured, guilt and fear warring within her. Outside, the pirates' laughter mingled with the crackle of fire, a stark contrast to the despair settling over the team. As darkness deepened, the camp descended into revelry. the pirates distracted by rum and bravado. Seizing the moment, Elena began working at her bindings, her fingers nimble despite the stakes. "Once we're free, we head for the boat," she instructed quietly. Matteo nodded, his determination renewed. "I'll create a diversion," he offered, revealing a small device from his sleeve, a high-frequency emitter intended for underwater recordings. "They won't know what hit them." With a click, an otherworldly wail pierced the night, sending the camp into chaos. The pirates clutched their ears, stumbling in confusion. The team dashed toward the water's edge, adrenaline drowning out exhaustion. But their escape was short-lived. The mechanical humming returned, louder and more insistent, the water beneath them churning ominously. "What now?" Sophia cried, terror in her eyes. From the depths, shapes began to materialize. Monolithic forms of twisted metal and flesh rising like specters. The apparitions bore the semblance of creatures yet defied all logic, their bodies a grotesque fusion of organic matter and machinery. Their eyes glowed with an unnatural luminescence, fixated on the intruders. The air vibrated with a resonance that bypassed sound, echoing directly within their minds. "You have taken what is not yours," the collective voice intoned, each word dripping with ancient ire. Helena felt a cold dread settle over her. "We meant no harm," she responded, her thoughts involuntarily projected. "We sought to learn, to understand." The entities loomed closer, tendrils of mist and metal reaching out. "Knowledge has a price," they echoed. The team recoiled as visions flooded their senses. Destruction wrought by human hands, the relentless exploitation of nature's gifts. In that harrowing moment, realization struck. The true guardians of the Pantanal were not the pirates or any human threat but the swamp itself, a living entity defending its sanctity. Matteo dropped to his knees, the weight of guilt crushing him. Luis faced the beings, his voice steady despite the fear. "If we return what we've taken, will you let us go?" The creatures paused, the oppressive energy thinning slightly. Sophia stepped forward, her earlier hesitance replaced by resolve. "We can be your messengers. Share your story with the world, so others may respect and protect this place." The entities regarded them silently before retracting their tendrils. "The burden is yours to bear," they declared. The mechanical hum subsided, replaced by the natural sounds of the swamp reasserting themselves. As dawn broke, the team found themselves alone on the raft, drifting gently along a familiar channel. Their equipment was gone, yet an inexplicable sense of peace settled among them. Elena gazed at her companions, each reflecting a profound change. Matteo's eyes held a newfound humility. Sophia's face was alight with purpose, and Luis's hardened visage softened by acceptance. They had been spared, but the experience had transformed them irrevocably. With unspoken agreement, they navigated toward home, the weight of their encounter heavy yet enlightening. The secrets of the Pantanal pulsed within them, not as data to be exploited, but as a sacred trust to honor. In the heart of the swamp, they had confronted not only external perils, but the depths of their own souls, emerging with a reverence for the mysteries that were never theirs to unveil.